Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get you the 6 stories that have set the agenda for this Monday evening. Starting off with the top story that we are tracking. Now, the Aviation Minister, Ram Mohan Naidu, for the first time has finally responded to the IndiGo crisis, and like expected, he has pinned the blame on IndiGo. Yes, IndiGo is to be held responsible, but can the government and the DGCA wash their hands off? Meanwhile, the winter session of the Parliament is currently underway, and the main highlight of the session today was the Vande Mataram debate, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi initiating the debate and opposition countering the claim. We'll tell you why this has been a subject of heated debate in the Parliament. In Kerala, a very popular actor, Dilip, has been acquitted in a 2017 assault case. He says that this case, although he is a free man now, but this case has destroyed his career. What was this case about, and what did the court say today? We'll tell you about that as well. Next story that we are tracking, ladies and gentlemen, his name is Kalse Patil, a retired Bombay High Court judge, now doing the work of spreading venom against Hindus. We say this because he has made some very controversial comments on Hindus, and this has now sparked a huge debate. Meanwhile, what we're also going to tell you in this edition is about how the missing Goa club owner has now spoken up on the fire tragedy. A lookout notice has been issued against him, and it has been several days since the tragedy broke out in Goa, which had killed 25 people. He has still not been arrested, and he is releasing statements on social media. And in news that is making international headlines, Thailand-Cambodia clashes have been reignited. 1 Thai soldier and 4 Cambodian civilians have been killed. 6 stories that have set the national agenda today, starting first up with the top focus story. Ladies and gentlemen, today for the first time after the biggest aviation crisis broke out here in India, the Civil Aviation Minister made his first remarks, his first statement on the floor of the House, going on record. They blamed IndiGo, said that it was because of the poor planning of the airlines that the chaos happened. Yes, it was because of IndiGo, and yes, it was because of the poor planning of IndiGo. But let us also tell you about how the DGCA is equally responsible in the document that has now been accessed by Republic. A parliamentary panel has revealed that as early as August 2025, the DGCA was explicitly warned about airlines flouting flight duty time limitations, and specifically flagged on how these rules and IndiGo for allowing practices that circumvent vital safety measures. The panel had then directed the regulator to strictly enforce the updated FDTL norms rigorously and monitor all operations, and to also ensure that no airline bypasses the critical fatigue management safeguards. But did the DGCA take that into account? Certainly no. Here's a report on that.
Down, down! Down, down! Down, down!
Indian airports are facing their worst operational meltdown in years as the country's largest carrier, IndiGo, continues to cancel hundreds of flights. Even after 6 days of crisis, IndiGo passengers still face struggle to have a timely flight and also to get their luggage back.
We are now at Mumbai Airport. You can see the visuals here. Outside of Mumbai Airport Terminal 2, and with delays and cancellations continues at Mumbai Airport, and it's from IndiGo only.
This has been the situation since morning, although now you can see a few IndiGo people, IndiGo employees were sitting there. We'll also try to show you, I don't know if it's visible to our viewers, that there is a bunch of around 3-4 people who are sitting around a laptop, and they're noting something, they're pasting stickers on the luggages, and that is the situation since the past 2 to 3 hours, where they have been trying to mark the bags. From what we understand, they're definitely trying to identify the owners and then make sure that it becomes easy for them. But you can also see, you just saw somebody just sliding the bag from one end to another, so you can see how those baggages are being handled at this point of time.
And so far, a total of a whopping 5,86,705 PNRs were cancelled for the period between 1st to 7th December and refunded amounting to a total of Rs 569.65 crores. Also, 4,500 bags were delivered to customers out of a total of 9,000 bags. Meanwhile, a new shocking detail has now come to light. That a parliamentary committee has raised strong warnings as early as August about looming risks in India's aviation system. The committee's report highlighted a serious mismatch between India's rapidly growing aircraft fleets and the much slower expansion of manpower. It stressed that the DGCA must adhere to the Flight Duty Time Limitation Rules, or the FDTL. Back in August, the committee had also urged the DGCA to assess whether the mental health protocols were genuinely reducing fatigue and stress. It further emphasized the need to strengthen human factors in fatigue management for flight crew, stressing that operational personnel must be well rested and mentally fit. Responding to aviation crisis, Minister Ram Mohan Naidu dismissed claims of regulatory failure. He stressed that all the crisis that was happening was due to crew rostering and an internal planning system.
इंडिगो का क्राइसिस अभी देखने को मिला वो एएमएसएस से रिलेटेड नहीं है। इंडिगो के इंटरनल ऑपरेशंस में उनके जो क्रू रोस्टरिंग सिस्टम है, उनका जो अपना इंटरनल प्लानिंग है, उसमें गड़बड़ी के कारण ये सब हुआ है। ये एफडीटीएल में जो बदलाव, आई एम एक्सपेंडिंग ऑन दिस क्वेश्चन सर बिकॉज द हाउस ऑल्सो वांट्स टू नो एंड द नेशन ऑल्सो वांट्स टू नो, सो आई वुड लाइक टू स्प्रेड सम लाइट ऑन दिस। 1st November 2025 there have been new FDTL guidelines into place. We have had thorough consultation with all the stakeholders when we have changed it, and due process has been done for that. And in April, under the guidelines of High Court, under the order of the High Court, it has come into implementation. There were 22 FDTL guidelines, 15 of them from 1st of July and 7 of them from 1st of November. There was no problem from what was happening in 1st of July, and there were some variations that were required by the airlines for the guidelines which were proposed from 1st of November. There were multiple stakeholder consultations done, not only with IndiGo, we have other players in the industry also, with everyone. Multiple stakeholder consultations regarding the FTL, where we have been very, very strict, saying that there has to be no compromise on safety. Safety is the topmost priority. We care for the crew, we care for the pilots, and we care for the safety of the entire system, we care for the passengers. So from the ministry, we have made it very, very clear to all the airlines that they have to follow the rules. And from 1st of, I'm just expanding so that you get the whole understanding of the issue. 1st of November, since this has happened, DGCA has been in continuous consultation. They wanted some variations, all the airlines, not just one airline, all airlines have come back because they vary in the operations. Some are having night operations, some are operating heavily in the northeast, some have ATR specific operations. So they, even if you talk about airlines, they all have different kind of operations.
However, IndiGo board updated on its website that they have been meeting regularly since the crisis began. As IndiGo's crisis unfolds, the aviation sector remains under intense scrutiny. All eyes are now on the airline and the DGCA to ensure safety, efficiency, and timely resolution of this nationwide aviation crisis.
"150 years ago, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay penned a poem titled Vande Mataram. Years later, in 1937, the Congress adopted a modified version of Vande Mataram as the country's national song, and in 1951. Now, after so many years have passed, the Parliament today held a special session on the song with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the charge. But why has the song that was penned years ago become a point of contention, a topic of discussion and debate in the Parliament? Here's the reason.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
To commemorate 150 years of Vande Mataram, Parliament has embarked time to have a discussion on the national song in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha.
Sasya Shamala Mataram,
The Vande Mataram debate in Parliament started when Prime Minister Modi stated that the Congress removed important stanzas from the song, thereby sowing the seeds of partition. Addressing the Lok Sabha today on the occasion of Vande Mataram completing 150 years, Prime Minister Modi stressed that it is a proud moment for the country.
जिस जय घोष ने देश की आजादी के आंदोलन को ऊर्जा दी थी, प्रेरणा दी थी, त्याग और तपस्या का मार्ग दिखाया था, उस वंदे मातरम का पुण्य स्मरण करना इस सदन में हम सबका ये बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य है और हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है कि वंदे मातरम के 150 वर्ष निमित्त इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर के हम साक्षी बन रहे हैं.
Later, Prime Minister Modi took a jibe at Congress on the compromises made by the party on the national song. He added that the Congress bowed to the Muslim League and decided to fragment Vande Mataram. PM Modi emphasized that the country was trapped in emergency when the national song completed 100 years.
जब देश की आजादी को कुचलने की कोशिश हुई, संविधान के पीठ पे छुरा भोंक दिया गया, आपातकाल थोप दिया गया, यही वंदे मातरम की ताकत थी कि देश खड़ा हुआ और प्रयास करके रहा.
Continuing to praise the national song, the Prime Minister also said that Vande Mataram stood like a rock when British divided Bengal in 1905.
1905 में अंग्रेजों ने बंगाल का विभाजन किया, लेकिन जब अंग्रेजों ने 1905 में ये पाप किया तो वंदे मातरम चट्टान की तरह खड़ा रहा. बंगाल की एकता के लिए वंदे मातरम गली गली का नाद बन गया था.
Reacting on the Vande Mataram debate, Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi said that the song was meant to instill fear in the British.
आप बार बार वंदे मातरम की आप बात कर रहे थे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी. वंदे मातरम किस संदर्भ में लिखा गया? ब्रिटिश के विद्रोह में वंदे मातरम का नारा कब लगाते थे? जब हम ब्रिटिश के अंदर हम खौफ पैदा करना चाहते थे. वंदे मातरम का नारा कब लगाते थे? जब हम ब्रिटिश को बताना चाहते थे कि हम डरेंगे नहीं, हम झुकेंगे नहीं. तो ये था मूल भाव वंदे मातरम का, ब्रिटिश के विद्रोह करने का. मैं पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपके राजनीतिक पूर्वजों ने वंदे मातरम की इस मंशा को आपने कब पूरा किया? कब आपने ब्रिटिश का विद्रोह किया?
With the Prime Minister's remarks setting the tone in the Lok Sabha, the debate is expected to intensify further as Home Minister Amit Shah is scheduled to address the Rajya Sabha tomorrow, where the discussion is likely to continue.
And in a landmark verdict, Malayalam cinema icon Dileep has been fully acquitted by the Ernakulam Principal Sessions Court in the very infamous 2017 actress assault case that had ensnared him for nearly 8 grueling years. Accused number 8 in a web of conspiracy charges stemming from the abduction and sexual assault of a fellow leading actress in a moving car in Kochi. Dileep was exonerated as the prosecution failed to substantiate any link to the orchestration or blackmail plot, despite a sensational arrest in July 2017 that had triggered by a leaked jail letter from the prime accused Pulsar Suni. Now, Dileep says that although he has been acquitted, his career, however, has been completely destroyed.
A dramatic end to a nearly 8-year legal battle. The Ernakulam Principal Sessions Court acquitted actor Dileep, ruling that the prosecution failed to prove his involvement in the 2017 abduction and sexual assault of a leading Malayalam actress. Out of the 10 accused who stood trial, 6 have been found guilty of rape and criminal conspiracy, while 4, including Dileep, were acquitted. The court held that the case against Dileep was not supported by sufficient evidence.
അയാളുടെ ജയിലിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന കൂട്ടുപ്രതികളെയും കൂട്ടുപിടിച്ചിട്ട് ഈ പോലീസ് സംഘം ഒരു കള്ളക്കഥ മെഞ്ഞെടുക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്തത്. എന്നിട്ട് ഈ പോലീസ് സംഘം ചില മാധ്യമങ്ങളെയും അവർക്ക് ഒത്താശ ചെയ്തു കൊടുക്കുന്ന ചില മാധ്യമപ്രവർത്തകരെയും കൂട്ടുപിടിച്ച് ഈ കള്ളക്കഥ സാമൂഹ്യ മാധ്യമങ്ങളിലൂടെ പ്രചരിപ്പിക്കുകയും ചെയ്തു. ഇന്ന് കോടതിയിൽ പോലീസ് സംഘം ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ കള്ളക്കഥ.
Stepping forward, Kerala Minister V. Sivankutty has assured that the administration will stand firmly with the survivor, providing every possible help.
അതിജീവിതയുടെ പോരാട്ടത്തിൽ എന്നും സർക്കാർ അവരോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ആയിരുന്നു. എല്ലാ പിന്തുണയും അവർക്ക് നൽകിയിരുന്നു. ഇനിയും അതിജീവിതയ്ക്ക് എല്ലാവിധ പിന്തുണയും ഗവൺമെന്റ് നൽകും. വിധിയുടെ പൂർണ്ണരൂപം വന്നിട്ടില്ല. വിധിയുടെ പൂർണ്ണരൂപം വന്നതിന് ശേഷം ഗവൺമെന്റ് ആലോചിച്ച് ആവശ്യമായ തീരുമാനങ്ങൾ കൈക്കൊള്ളും.
The survivor was abducted on the 9th of 17th February 2017, held captive inside her car for nearly 2 hours and sexually assaulted by a gang before being dropped on the roadside. The brutal attack sent shockwaves across the country. The prosecution had alleged that Dilip masterminded the crime, hiring the gang as part of a criminal conspiracy. He was also accused of destroying evidence. Dilip, however, consistently denied all charges. The trial saw 261 witnesses examined, with 28 turning hostile, and 2 special prosecutors quitting midway. The prosecution submitted 833 documents and 142 material objects, while the defense produced 221 documents. Witness examination alone lasted over 438 days. The 6 who were convicted were found guilty of gang rape and conspiracy. They will be sentenced in the coming days.
In the face of a very, very baseless and inflammatory remarks from a retired judge, B.J. Kolse Patil, at the Sufi Saints Conference in Karnataka, where he dared to question the profound sanctity of Hinduism while viciously targeting the RSS and the Brahmin community. These attacks are nothing, ladies and gentlemen, but a desperate attempt to fracture the Hindu society, but they only ignite a fiercer resolve among the devotees in Hinduism to protect and propagate the divine essence of Hinduism. Here's that controversial statement that was made by the former judge of the Bombay High Court.
In Karnataka's Bidar district, what began as a quiet spiritual gathering has exploded into a nationwide point of contention.
हिंदू धर्म नहीं है, वो ब्राह्मण धर्म है. 1900 तक और उसके पहले भी ये सब ब्राह्मण उनका धर्म अलग मानते थे. वो हिंदू धर्म एक परकियों ने दी हुई हिंदू गालियां हैं. वो गाली हम लोगों को समझाते नहीं. हिंदू नाम का कोई धर्म नहीं था, सिर्फ ब्राह्मण धर्म था. लेकिन ब्राह्मणों ने अपनी बुद्धि चलाकर हम सबको गुलाम किया और आप सबको हमसे लड़ने के लिए, हिंदुओं के लड़ने के लिए कर लिया. तो ये गलत है, लेकिन ये समझाएगा कौन?
What you heard just now is not any layman. His name is B.J. Kolse Patil, a retired Bombay High Court judge. The retired Bombay High Court judge's derogatory remarks at a Sufi Saints conference have now spiraled into a full-blown controversy. The statements attacking not just the RSS but also Brahmins and the very idea of the Hindu religion have shocked many. The remarks have drawn strong criticism over the alleged disrespect towards Hindu religion and the Brahmin community. As the uproar grows, the question now is, was this an exercise of free speech or a deliberate attempt to target Hindus?
The Goa nightclub fire, one of the deadliest tragedies in the recent days that the state has witnessed, has now triggered a massive crackdown across departments and districts. From senior officials being suspended to multiple arrests to lookout circulars now being issued against the club owners, investigators are now uncovering layers of alleged negligence and regulatory failure. More details are in this report on how the owners have escaped, yet they are issuing statements on social media.
was a night meant for music, celebration, and Goa's iconic nightlife. But within seconds, it turned into a blazing coffin. Another shocking footage has now surfaced showing people trapped inside the nightclub, helpless, screaming for a way out.
Why these licenses are being given to people who are not following the norms, may it be fire safety norms or the structure norms which are required. Because what we are gathering from the co-workers of the deceased is that the people have lost their lives in the kitchen area specifically. They are not burnt, but they have suffocated to the kind of environment was created on the spot. Because to be very specific, they were telling me on camera that there are no burn marks on the bodies, but there was a blood coming out from their ears or nose, which shows that they have suffocated.
Once lively, now left barren. What followed was chaos, panic, and now a full-fledged crackdown. Lookout notice has been issued for absconding club owners. A man named Bhola, detained, is suspected of assisting the now untraceable club owners. Bhola's links to Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra are now under intense scrutiny. Owner Saurabh Luthra, on the other hand, tried to do a damage control by issuing a statement. In an exclusive interview, Arpora Sarpanch Roshan Redkar, who was summoned by the police, claims he was targeted instead of the culprits.
वही मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया कि जो हम लोगों ने पंचायत ने जो प्रोसीजर किया था वो छोड़ के जिन्होंने कुछ किया ही नहीं उनको पकड़ना चाहिए था, पूछताछ के लिए लाना चाहिए था। उन्होंने मेरे को पूछताछ के लिए लेके गया। इस टाइम में वो पॉलिटिक्स ब्लेम गेम खेलने का मतलब नहीं रहता है। आज के तारीख में उनको क्या सहानुभूति जो कुछ करना है वो करना चाहिए।
As the investigation dig deeper, the incident might be the result of possible negligence among upper ranks. 3 senior officials have been suspended for alleged negligence and violations, namely Siddhi Tushar, Dr. Shamila Montero, and Raghuveer D. Bakkar. Meanwhile, Anjuna Police has detained key accused in the Birch Fire accident for 6-day police custody. Chief General Manager Rajiv Modak, Gate Manager Priyanshu Thakur, Bar Manager Rajveer Singhania, General Manager Vivek Singh, and Bharat Kohli, responsible for overseeing daily operations at the club, all have been detained. With arrests mounting, suspensions announced, and officials under the scanner, the investigation is now racing to uncover who allowed the violations, who looked the other way, and who must be held accountable for a tragedy that should never have happened.
And on to our last story of the evening. Tensions between Thailand and Cambodia have now reignited along the disputed border, stemming from a century-old disagreement over the colonial-era map-down boundaries that claims to have sacred temples in their regard. Now, this shattered a fragile July ceasefire that had ended 5 days of intense combat, resulting in the 43 deaths and displacement of around 30,000 people. Here's what happened today between Thailand and Cambodia after clashes were reignited.
Tensions flared on the Thai-Cambodian border today after a deadly clash left 1 Thai soldier dead and 4 wounded. The Thai army says it responded with airstrikes on Cambodian positions. Early this morning, Cambodian troops opened fire on Thai forces in Ubon Ratchathani province. The attack killed 1 Thai soldier and injured 4. In response, the Thai army says it launched airstrikes against Cambodian military infrastructure in several locations, aiming to suppress further attacks. The fighting has forced tens of thousands to flee. About 70% of Thai civilians in the border towns have been evacuated, and Cambodian authorities are also ordering evacuations. The two neighbors have traded blame as the dispute over the border escalates once more. A brief firing incident along the border occurred on Sunday, after which both sides said the other fired first. The Thai army said Cambodian fire injured 2 Thai soldiers and Thai troops retaliated, resulting in an exchange of fire that lasted around 20 minutes.
ทางฝ่ายกัมพูชาเองเนี่ยได้เปิดพื้นที่การปะทะเพิ่มเติมอีกในหลายพื้นที่ด้วยกันในช่วงเช้ามืดนะครับได้แก่พื้นที่ช่องอานม้านะครับห้วยตามาเลียพื้นที่ปราสาทคณาพื้นที่ปราสาทตาควายนะครับแล้วก็ปราสาทตาเมืองนะครับซึ่งฝ่ายไทยก็ได้ดำเนินการตอบโต้นะตามแผนเผชิญเหตุนะครับโดยเน้นเป้าหมายทางทหารเป็นหลักนะครับที่โจมตีหรือกระทำต่อฝ่ายไทยนะครับ
However, Cambodia said that the Thai side fired first and that Cambodian troops did not retaliate.
សូមជម្រាបជូនផងដែរថានៅក្នុងហេតុការណ៍ខាងលើកងកម្លាំងកម្ពុជាមិនបានតបតឡើយដោយប្រកាន់ខ្ជាប់នៅបំផុតនៅការគោរពនិងការអនុវត្តបទឈប់បាញ់និងសេចក្តីថ្លែងការណ៍រួមស្តីពីកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងសន្តិភាពរវាងកម្ពុជាថៃរួមទាំងគោលការណ៍ឯកភាពគ្នារវាងកម្ពុជានិងថៃដោយឈរលើមូលដ្ឋាននៃការដោះស្រាយរាល់បញ្ហាដោយសន្តិវិធីត្រឹមត្រូវនិងស្របតាមច្បាប់អន្តរជាតិ
Tensions have simmered since the Southeast Asian neighbors signed a truce agreement in October, pushed by US President Donald Trump after their territorial dispute led to 5 days of combat in July that killed dozens of soldiers and civilians. The US brokered ceasefire that ended the brief conflict was threatened last month after Thai troops were injured by landmines. Both the sides continue to trade accusations over responsibility, even as they are supposed to be cooperating in getting rid of the mines.
And that's all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We'll be back same time tomorrow with more agenda-setting stories. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking with my colleague Riddhan.
थोड़े में ज्यादा